guys, welcome back to my channel. And those who are new to my channel, I'm Patty and I'm a gnome maker. If you like gnomes, be sure to subscribe. One of my subscribers wanted me to make a soldier gnome, so I came up with this little guy with his night vision and everything. If you want to know how to make him, stick around, I'll show you how. Okay guys, for this video you're going to need the pattern, and it's in the description below. There's several pages of it and some SVG files for some of the stuff that you can cut out with SVG. You're going to need some vinyl for his binoculars. You're going to need some suede for his shoes. I'm using the Cricut brand pages. You're going to need some craft foam in one black and one other color you choose. You're going to need some camo, any camo you choose, some chipboard, 4 corks, some rivets, some pipe cleaners, the little shoes from the dollar store, party favor shoes. You're going to need a nose, a bead for his nose, 2 sticks for his legs, 2 sticks for his binoculars, some rubber bands, some string, something to make his shoelaces out of, a buckle if you choose to use that on his hat. You're going to need some faux fur for his beard and a pool noodle. And you'll need some setting tools to set your rivets. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I went ahead and cut out my pattern pieces for my pants and my legs. We're just going to take 2 corks and stack them up on top of these 1/4 inch by 6 inch dowel rods. And we're going to do that for both legs. But make sure that you do glue the 2 corks together. That way they'll stay together once you get them in your legs. Okay, then we're going to start by building up our pants. We're going to take 2 of the facing pieces on each side together. And then we're going to just take some glue and glue it right along that top edge in the center crotch area. And we're going to do that on both of them. And then we're going to set those aside while we build our legs, because we want those to dry really, really good before we make the rest of those pants. Okay, we're going to take our 2 legs. And on this one, you do not have to hem the bottom. You do not have to hem the side. Just roll that up because it's going to be underneath the pants and you're not going to see it. Just roll it up, glue it together, and do the same thing for the other side. Okay, then we're going to take those and we're going to cut some slits in them so that we can attach them to our pool noodle. So probably about 4 or 5 slits on each one of those. And then we're going to put them in our noodle. We're going to put them on each side, spaced evenly. And just put them down in the pool noodle. And then we're going to glue all those little flaps for those pants down to the pool noodle. And this will hold our legs together. Don't skip that part because you're going to need to do that. Go ahead and add a little bit of glue. Put that in there. And let it dry. And then we're going to do the other side as well. Then go ahead and glue your little flaps down. And that will keep your legs from coming off. If you skip this part and somebody picks up your gnome and pulls that leg, it will come out. We're going to take the pants and put 2 facing sides together. And we're going to finish putting these together. We're going to start up the leg on the bottom and go all the way around with the glue. This is going to be the inseam of his pants. And then we're going to glue down both sides. And that will finish out his pants. We're not going to hem his pants because it's going to be covered up with his boots. Okay, let those dry really good. We're going to take our pockets and make those. We're going to have 2 pockets on each side of the pants leg. And then we're going to have a flap for each pocket. If you have cargo pants, you've seen this on pants before. We're just going to do that to all 4 pieces. We're just going to glue them up around a 1/4 inch all the way around on each side. And then we're going to take 2 of the other 2. And we're going to fold them in half and glue them. And that's going to be our flap. Okay, then we're going to turn our pants right side out and we're going to attach our pockets. We're going to put the 2 inseams together, the 2 inside legs together, and fold them down so that we have an even side down the side. And we are going to place that pocket just below the crotch area. You don't want to go lower than that, and you don't want to go higher than that, because we want it to be seen once you get your shirt on and once you get your pants tucked into the boots. Just going to attach it right there, and then we're going to attach our flap. And we're going to do this on both sides of them. Just attach it right there, and then put the flap on it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put them on our legs. Put our legs in there. We'll pull them up like that. And then we're going to tie a string around the waist to hold the pant on. After we tie that string, we're going to go ahead and take some glue. And we're going to glue around the top part of the pants and glue it to the noodle so they stay on. Just all the way around. Just glue it down. We're going to take our pattern and cut out our gloves. We're going to cut out our shirt and our arms. We're going to take the shirt, put two sides facing together, and we're going to glue down both sides. Just the sides. On both sides. Then we're going to go ahead and take our gloves, and you want to make sure that you have a right and a left on those gloves, because we're going to put a piece on the knuckle part, and you want to make sure that they match. You can take two of them that match together. We're going to open them up, and we're going to take a pipe cleaner and put one pipe cleaner folded in half into each hand. Glue it down into the hand, and then we're going to glue the other side of the hand right on top of that. And we're going to do this for both of them. So you're just going to use one of your pipe cleaners right now per hand. And then glue that other hand down on top of it. And get the glue as close to the edge as you can and push it down so that it stays together real tight and you don't see that pipe cleaner. And then we're going to take our little knuckle and we're going to put it right across the top part of where the fingers are. That's for our knuckles. So you need to make sure that you have a right hand and a left hand. So make sure your thumbs face each other when you're holding it together. And then we're going to go ahead and put the knuckle on the other one. Attach that right below his fingers. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to build his arms. We're going to take the pattern, we open it up, and we are going to hem down one side of that. This is going to be for the back of the arm, and we're going to do that for both of them. All right, now we're going to take our pipe cleaner. We're going to take another pipe cleaner, put it on top of our other pipe cleaner so his arms are a little bit more beefy. And we're just going to glue that right on top. Then we're going to go ahead and build the cuff of his arm. We're going to go across one side and then down the two long sides. You're going to leave the other side open because we're going to cover that up. Just fold it down on both sides. And then we're going to fold it in half. And that's going to be our cuff. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other one. Okay, now we're going to take our arm and we're going to put the edge of our glove inside of the sleeve. Lay it down, fold it over. Make sure that your knuckle part is facing the opposite way of the back of the sleeve. Glue the edge of that hand in there, or that glove in there, and then we're going to fold those two flaps over so that the back of the seam ends up right down the back of the arm. It doesn't have to be tight. We want them a little bit loose so that his arms don't look so skinny. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side as well. We're going to go ahead and take the cuff, go around the top part edge of our raw edge of our shirt, and we are going to glue that on, and that's why you didn't have to make a seam on the edge of the shirt. And then glue that down. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing, exact same thing for the other one. And then just glue that cuff on. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and take a shirt and we are going to hem up the edge of it. Just a 1/4 inch seam all the way around the shirt. The sides of it will be a little bit different and a little bit tricky. They're just going to go up a little bit higher, but the main point was to make his shirt look a little bit more tailored. That's why we did the inside in the waist a little bit thinner than the bottom of it. Okay, once you get that glued all the way around, we're going to go ahead and turn it right side out, and we're going to go ahead and attach it to our body. Once we get it on the body, we're just going to pull it down till it's just above the pockets because we want our pockets to show. So just pull it down just above the pockets. And then at the top, we're going to add glue all the way around the edge, and then we're going to hold it in there until it dries. All right, now we're going to go ahead and attach his legs. Pull his legs up a little bit, probably about a ½ an inch above the bottom cork, and we're going to put a rubber band around that. His boots will cover up the edge of his pants. So we didn't have to hem them. We're just going to take a rubber band and put them in there. All right, now we're going to go ahead and make his hat. We're going to take the 1½ inch piece of cardboard, wrap it around, glue it, and then we're going to add a little piece of tape to it. Then we're going to start adding our little strips, and we're going to go about 1 inch down on each side, or just halfway down on each side, and we're just going to start gluing them in all the way around. Just diagonal all the way, and then the next one will be diagonal all the way across too. And we're going to keep going until we use up all of our pieces of cardboard. I end up with 2 extras at the end, so I'm going to actually tell you in the pattern how many pieces you actually do need. And I did include the SVG file, so if you want to cut this out with a Cricut or a Silhouette or something like that, it'll make it a little bit easier. And just keep going until you have that hat completely sealed in. And this is going to be not a hat, it's actually going to be the helmet. Okay, once you get it all in, we're going to go ahead and glue the other piece that's the same size all the way around the front, all the way around to the back. We're going to trim this helmet to the front being about 3/4 of an inch and the back being open. We're going to take a marker and we're going to mark on each side, diagonal from each other, on this side and at the opposite side. Then we're going to take our scissors and we are just going to start curving up and then curving back down to that mark just to make the front of the helmet. Once we got that done, we're going to take our fabric and we're going to go across the top part where the top diagonal is. And you want to make sure that you're on a side, not in the front, because so where that diagonal comes down is the very front of the hat. So we are on an exact side of the hat. We're going to glue down a little bit. We're going to make a little pleat at the top, right there where I just put my thumb. And we're going to do the same thing on both sides. And when we get to the other side, we're going to put our pleat in the exact same place. Just glue that in. And then we're going to glue it inside the hat and make that curve where it folded down, where it curved up. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Just make sure that you might want to mark a mark in the very front so that you know what the front center is, because we are on both sides of the front center. The long strip that we're going to get ready to do here in a minute, that's the one that's going to go straight down the middle of the hat from front to back. Go ahead and put your little your little pleat right there. Glue it in. And then we're going to go down and glue this one in as well inside. And kind of stretch the fabric as you're going to so that it's tight. I'm using a ripstop type of fabric. It's kind of like a nylon, but it's pretty flexible. Okay, then we're going to take our long strip and we are going to glue it on both sides, a 1/4 inch seam. And it looks a little bit bigger in the video because I did go back and trim it out a little bit smaller, but I made the correction on the pattern already for you. Okay, so once we got that done, we're going to go to the center front of the hat. We are going to tuck that around and we're going to cover up that open area that those other 2 side pieces didn't cover up. And we are going to stretch it as we go along the top so it gets good and tight. I'm just going to glue that flap on the inside of that hat as well, and we will be done with the hat. Just pull it on around there and hold it in place till it dries. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and build his goggles. Go ahead and cut your pattern out. We're going to take 2 of the same piece of goggle. We're going to put a little bit of dotted glue around, and we're going to put our black lens in. You don't have to use foam for this. I did. I wish I had not. I wish I'd used something thinner. You can use a piece of plastic or a piece of cardstock or whatever. And then you might want to trim it down just a little bit. Try it onto the goggles with your paper and then trim it down before you glue it all together. But we're just going to take the glue all the way around, and then we're going to attach the top part of the goggle too to close out the lens area. Then push it down real good. Then we're going to add our strap. We're going to come through the front to the back, and we're going to glue that down. And then we're going to come around to the other side and glue that down as well. Come through the front to the back and then glue that down. I'm using craft foam for this. It stretches a little bit. You might want to try it on your helmet before you glue it down, but put it onto the helmet with the goggles on the front part and just add a little bit of glue around the back. Okay, while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and do his shoes. We're going to put a little bit of weighted beads inside these Dollar Tree baby shower favors, and then we're going to take some tape and tape it to the bottom. I'm going to use the Cricut brand suede sheets for my shoes because they do stretch good, and you did need some stretching ability on this. We're going to take our shoe front. After you cut your pattern out, take your shoe front, and we're going to glue it to the front of the shoe, and then we're going to stretch it around. Now you're going to have to pull it on down. You're going to have some pleating in the front part, but that's okay because we're going to cover that up with a strip. So pull that edge down to the edge of the shoe. Same thing on both sides. And you will have some pleating, but that's natural. That's how our shoe naturally looks. So pull that corner down, stretch it down there, and glue that down. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for the other shoe. Glue it to the front of the shoe, and then glue it all the way around the bottom and pull it down to the bottom of the shoe. And glue it in. Okay, now we're going to take our back strap and we're going to just attach it evenly around the edge and glue it in. Just stretch it all the way around there so it's all covered up, and then glue in the top part. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other shoe. Put it around there and glue it on. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and take our strap and we're going to go all the way around our shoe. So just start in the back, and you'll have to trim this at the end, but just pull it. If you stretch it, it'll look really good. Just stretch it on around there across the seams and those little pleats all the way around the shoe, and then trim it off at the back and cut it off. Cut off the excess. And then glue that in. We're going to do the same thing for the other one. We're going to do the same thing for the other one. We're just going to go ahead and take that, and if you stretch it, it will look a lot better. Go ahead and wrap it around, stretch it, glue, and then glue it off, and then we're going to trim it off. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue his shoes onto his feet. And you don't have to worry about rights and lefts on this because they're both exactly the same. And then we're going to build up his top part of his boot. We're just going to take the strap, go around, and you probably want to try this on yours before you do it. I had to trim mine a little bit, but you want the two pieces to fit flush against each other, so when you put your shoelaces in, they don't overlap. I'm just going to mark with a pin two spots on my boots and make sure that they're the same size. Go ahead and cut them out with a punch, and then we're going to put a rivet in them. Just going to put our rivets right through there. And then I'm going to put a little piece of glue on the back part of the rivet before I hammer it down, just to make sure it stays in real good. Just put a little bit of glue right there, and that way for sure it will not come out. Just hammer those rivets right on in, and we're going to do that for both of them. Then we're going to fold them in half after we get done doing that, and we're going to mark the same spot on both sides because we want our laces to be even. We're going to go ahead and punch those out, and then we're going to put the rivets on this side as well, and then we're going to hammer those in as well. And be sure and add a little bit of glue to the back because it will hold those rivets in if they start to pull. And then we're going to do that for both of them. All right, now we're going to go ahead and wrap them around the boot, and we're going to add our laces. I just got some like leather strap to do mine. We're going to go from the bottom on the inside out and then up through the top on the inside, and we're going to tie up our laces. And they're going to be pretty tight. If you wanted to add a little bit of glue around the bottom part, attach it to the shoe, you can. I didn't because I got them on there pretty tight, and they're not going to go anywhere. But just make sure that your pants are bloused out. We're going to go ahead and cut off the excess lace, and then we're going to go ahead and tie the other side up as well. And then we're going to tie it in a bow and trim those off as well. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do his beard. Go ahead and take your pattern, draw your beard around there. We're going to cut the backing only and go all the way around that beard. Once we get that cut out, we're going to go ahead and clean the excess hair off of it and throw that away. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and attach his arms. Make sure that his thumbs are facing forward on both sides, and then we're just going to tuck this inside the noodle on both sides. We're going to add a little bit of glue to the shirts on both sides to make sure that they stay connected to the pipe cleaners. And then we're going to put glue down into the center of the noodle to hold the arms down in there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put his hat on so we can figure out exactly where we want his beard. Put his hat on, then put his beard up underneath his hat. Pull the hat all the way down. Tuck the beard up underneath there. And then we're going to go ahead and glue it down. Okay, and after you get it glued down, we're going to go ahead and attach his nose right down the middle. Right up close to the edge of the top. Hold it till it dries really good. Then we're going to put the hat on and we're going to glue the hat to the nose. Just a little dollop right on top. And you can go all the way around and glue the rest of the hat down a little bit more. I did go back and do that. Now we're going to make the straps for his hat, his helmet, where I've taken a 1/2 inch buckle and I'm taking the craft foam. I'm just folding it in a little bit. These are about 5 inches in length. And putting a buckle half on one side and a clasp on the other. And we're just going to slide this up underneath his hat, his helmet, and we're going to glue them in. Just look at your buckle, make sure that it's correct, facing the right way. Then we're just going to glue that right up underneath the hat. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side as well. Make sure that you glue those in there really, really well because you don't want somebody pulling them out. All right, then we're going to go ahead and bend up his arms so he's saluting. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and make his night vision binoculars. I'm just taking a 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch dowel rod, and I'm just wrapping it up in fabric. I went ahead and colored both ends of it black, and then we will go back at the end and color up more of it. Just roll it up in there. That's a 1 1/4 inch piece of fabric. You can use whatever you want to. I used a little thin piece of vinyl. Just roll it up in there and glue it in. And then so that we give it the look of the lens and the eyepiece, we're just going to take a 1/4 inch piece of fabric and we're going to attach it at both ends. Just roll it around the edges of it and glue it in. We're going to do this for both of them. Just make sure that you add plenty of glue to them and don't use too thick of a fabric because if you use too thick of a fabric, it'll probably come off. If you're going to use a thicker fabric, you probably want to use the that 6000 glue. And let it dry really good. Clamp it off a little bit and let it dry. And just roll it up on both ends. And glue it together. Then we're going to come back in with a black Sharpie because the back part of that fabric is white. And we're just going to color it in with a Sharpie on both sides. Get all of that colored in really, really well so you don't see any of it. Okay, now we're going to take a 1 inch by 1 1/4 inch piece of craft foam and we're going to attach our binoculars to the foam. And this is how we're going to attach it to the top part of his helmet. Just stand him up, and we are going to glue that to the top of his helmet. All right, a lot of detail, but you'll be glad that you did all this. He turns out pretty cute. There you have it, cute little army gnome. If you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see future videos, hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified when I have another video, hit the bell. Thanks for watching.